Looking now at the new income tax rules from April 1, India gets a brand new tax rule book. The 61-year-old Income Tax Act is replaced by the Modern Income Tax Act 2025. This is a big shift towards simpler compliance for every salaried employee and investor. The old financial year and assessment year are gone. Now, there is just one clean tax year concept. House rent allowance exemption has expanded to 8 major cities, including Bengaluru, Pune, Hyderabad and Ahmedabad. Meal card benefits have also jumped to 200 rupees per meal. Meanwhile, the children education allowance has risen to 3,000 per month. Festival gift vouchers can now be up to 15,000 rupees tax-free. For investors, share buyback proceeds will be taxed as capital gains instead of dividends. Securities transaction tax on derivatives has gone up. PAN quoting becomes mandatory for more high-value deals. All right, viewers, those are the details that we are getting from the new income tax rules. These will be effective now from April 1. That's basically tomorrow. Let's go across to our senior economist, Dr. Sharath Kohli, who's joining us in the discussion. Dr. Kohli, thanks very much. Very good morning to you. What are we looking at as far as the new tax regime goes? Help us compare it with the previous one, and which one is rather beneficial?
Good morning, Kriti, to you and the viewers. Yes, the new tax laws, they come into effect from 1st of April 2026. The old Act of 1961 retires after 65 years. You know, it's been a long time. And I think this new law looks more leaner. There were about 800 to 98 sections in the old law, including subsections. There were 800 plus sections. The new law has now been trimmed down. It's now got between 500 to 600 sections. It's thinner, it's simpler, and it makes compliance easier for the taxpayers. The earlier tax laws were complicated to read. For a taxpayer, he had to go to an expert. He had to consult a chartered accountant or a lawyer for understanding that. This new law, if you read the language, it looks a lot more, easier to read. And of course, there have been certain changes. It's important to understand, Kriti, that the structure of tax hasn't been changed. It's the face of the act which has been changed. The changes you were speaking about, the meal allowance and, the gift to employers, those are part of regular finance bill changes which have been made anyway in the budget. But basically, I think we are looking at a new act altogether. It will now be called Income Tax Act 2025, which is becoming effective from 1st of April. So taxpayers can look forward to a very simple to read promulgation, and which is easier to understand and a shorter one. It's not as bulky as the last one, because there were a lot of outdated provisions in the earlier one, which have now been obliterated, Kriti.
Yes, Dr. Kohli, also help us understand whether those who had been complying with the older rule book will still be able to go ahead with it, or will they be completely done away with and have to shift to the new rules?
No, as I said, the act has been changed to the new one. Well, people will have to continue to file their returns and do the compliance as they were doing before. They were, what you called as regime is something else. The old regime and the new regime, they continue in the new law also. Well, you're still allowed to choose, like, for example, if you salary Kriti, then you can choose the old regime. If you do more of investments, you take more of reductions and exemptions. Whereas if you don't, you can choose the new regime where the tax slabs are more friendly, the tax rates are lesser. So I think the regime also continues. Well, it's important to understand for the viewers that there is no change in the system of taxation. You continue to file your return the way you were doing in the earlier act. It's only that the act has become a new one. As I said, it's simpler to read, easier to read. The rules have been simplified. But basic tax structure, Kriti, remains the same. That's a very important point, where a lot of people are thinking that probably we'll be subject to new rules and we'll be subject to a new act. Our taxation system will change. There is nothing of that sort. It is just a new act with the same old system of taxation.